The Quintet series of action RPGs are an iconic set of loosely connected and poignant games that represent some of the best action RPGs on the Super Nintendo, and there's even a segment dedicated to these games within my newest favorite book, A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games. Soulblazer was originally released in 1992 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. In this title, you play as Blazer, a young man sent down from the heavens by the Master to help restore a world ravaged by an evil king. Blazer does this by heading into nearby dungeons full of monsters, and then by defeating these groups of monsters room by room, unlocks paths forward and restores buildings, people, and plants back into the world. The combat itself is a bit stiff, giving the player only 4 directional movement, but Blazer swings his sword in a nice, satisfying arc that will feel good to fans of 2D Zelda titles. The enemies aren't particularly smart, either shooting at Blazer from a distance or charging headfirst into Blazer's sword, but Blazer has magic projectiles of his own. To quote A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games, while Soulblazer may be overshadowed by its successors, they undoubtedly built upon its framework. Quintet's next foray into the action RPG genre goes by a couple of names, known in PAL territories as Illusion of Time, but we in the United States know it as Illusion of Gaia. In Illusion of Gaia, you play as Will, a young boy whose parents disappeared while exploring ancient ruins. Illusion of Gaia follows Will as he sets off to follow in his parents' footsteps, eluding pursuers and exploring the world along with several of his friends. The combat within Illusion of Gaia is a huge leap forward from Soulblazer, controlling far more fluidly and is beautifully animated. Will even shapeshifts into new forms such as Frieden, a knight wearing armor and wielding powerful attacks and magical projectiles. Moving away from the experience point system, Will gains stats by clearing rooms of enemies while simultaneously unlocking new paths forward. Illusion of Gaia hints at what Quintet was really able to do when given the funds to stretch their creative legs, making Illusion of Gaia a real standout in the Super Nintendo action RPG library. However, PAL territories got one even better. Due to Enix's American localization office closures, Tenchi Sozo, Creation of Heaven and Earth, was never released in the United States, but Enix's European offices were still active, and they brought the game to PAL territories as Terenigma, Quintet's magnum opus. In Terenigma, you play as Ark, a good-hearted delinquent who accidentally freezes time in his village when he opens Pandora's box. This sets Ark out on a journey to restore the Earth by raising the continents from the seas, then resurrecting plants and animals and eventually humans. The combat is easily the best of the series but lacks transformation mechanics from Illusion of Gaia, but in exchange Ark receives a wealth of new animations for running, jumping, swimming, climbing, sliding, and all kinds of new attack animations, and magic to use, and spears and armors to equip. As it says in A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games, Terenigma is undoubtedly the most RPG of the trilogy. Further solidifying the RPG aspects of the action RPG is the emphasis on storytelling and character interactions. Decisions that Ark makes while resurrecting the world can have long-term impacts on the societies that he restores, such as when he gets to participate in a fledgling democracy in the New World. The story starts out pretty lighthearted, but in typical Quintet fashion goes into some pretty dark places, culminating in an ending that won't soon leave your memory. You can learn more about these games and literally hundreds of others in A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games, which features reviews and overviews of not just the games released here in the West, but also the games that never left Japan, never came to Europe, or in the case of Terenigma, the ones that Europe got that we missed out on here in the US. So be sure to check out the book following the link in this video's description.